And welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be going over pest control and is it worth your hard-earned time and gold? But today we'll cover a couple of things, tell you if it's really worth your time, and just see what the XP returns are. Hopefully you can learn something. And as we head down the dock right here, we are to the beginning lander, and we are going to go ahead and talk to the squire just to get your level caps out of the way. I'm pretty positive that the first lander will require you to at least be level 40. So to be able to begin this little XP journey that you got going on here, you just need to train up till you are capable of fighting the beasts inside of pest control. And of course, I range around 80 to 85, so I am no longer in the beginning lander, and I think the beginning lander might give you 1 to 2 pest control points every time you use it. I know that the intermediate lander gives you about 4 points every time you complete it, and it is paired with about 680 gold. So it is kind of a decent return, and we are, of course, going to cover what it is in the exchange shop for the XP that you will get of each commendation point and just how helpful that might be. Now, pest control seems to be a good method to me just because it is relatively low risk when it comes to your inventory and your goods. So you don't really risk your neck by going into battle with a bunch of people and worry about losing a couple mil in equipment or even something that you might hold dear that took a long time to get. You can die as many times as you want, get as much XP as you want. As long as you don't let that Void Knight die, you are perfectly fine. Now, as you can see over here at the Veteran Lander, you need to at least be level 100. We're not quite of that caliber yet, so we're going to go ahead and take ourselves back to the Intermediate Lander and go ahead and hop in a game just to see how quick this really is. And here we go, hopping into the Intermediate Lander. We have about 10 people ready, and I'm sure as the match ends, it'll kind of sweep us away. Yep, there's 23. I'm sure we'll launch here, and boom. So I'm going to just go ahead and do offense first and kind of just show you what this is like. And really doesn't matter which way you go. It's kind of just personal preference. Sometimes you can go to what shield drops first. Sometimes you can just kind of pick a direction and go with the group. Now, of course, there are a couple of monsters in here that you are going to want to focus your attention on, including spinners, probably tortures, and ravagers, because they will drop defenses to make accessibility to the Void Knight maybe a little bit easier. And don't be one of those fools and leave that door open. Always close that door behind you, so you can't just have a bunch of monsters jumping onto that Void Knight. And as you can see, not many problems with spinners over here. Every time you attack something, you do gain a little bit of XP, as represented by that sword up in the left-hand corner. And we're just going to sit here, and as you can see, some portals are already falling. And as the portals fall, the Void Knight's health goes back up. So as long as you're consistently dropping portals, he shouldn't really be in any immediate danger. So as you work your way through pest control, sometimes they're relatively quick games. As you can see, already half of the shields are dropped, and we probably haven't been in this match for more than 2 to 3 minutes. And now the shield near me has dropped, and go ahead and join with your comrades and bring that sucker down. And it really doesn't matter what playstyle you use going into pest control. Whatever's kind of preferred by you is kind of the best way to go about it. Some people want to go for max hit points. Some people just want to work on skills they haven't really been working on that are combat related, and that is perfectly fine. And we're going to make our way here to the last portal and bring this down. Seems everybody got the spinners out of the way. And the spinners will re-heal the portal, and unfortunately some of those can be about level 97, so they have a relatively high defense. So make sure to focus on those because you want to drop that portal as fast as you can. And it looks like the Void Knight has perfectly fine health as we continue on here. And as we drop the last portal, we are sent out of the game and 4 Void Knight commendation points each time we win a match, as well as 830 gold. I correct myself. So we have about 14 of them, and I'm going to go ahead and run over to the exchange real quick and show you just about what 10 of those points can do for you. Now keep in mind, we weren't in that game for more than about 5 minutes. Exchange 10 points, and this would relatively be about 3 games later, so you've sacrificed maybe 8 to 10 minutes of your time for 2,474 defense XP, and the comma moves back depending on if you add a 0. So this can be a very, very lucrative way to stack on top of your already gained XP. And so what is defense like? Well, defense isn't exactly too hard of a thing in pest control. This is just keeping the Void Knight alive, and there tends to be a handful of people that like to take it upon themselves to defend this poor guy. Most of the time, you will have shifters, and shifters tend to be the biggest problem when it comes to this. If people keep the doors closed, of course, you won't have many other issues. And of course, people do need to play the objective, but if you feel like a more defensive role, then keeping him alive is ultimately up to you. Just make sure that, everybody's not crowding around him and everyone's actually going for the portal. And as we kind of just clear out the area here, make sure some doors are closed. You can see that torture down there is striking the Void Knight, but that's just because that door, of course, isn't closed. Hopefully they end up closing it here. And of course, like I explained before, he does re-heal with every portal that drops, so if we want to get his health back, we will need to drop that western portal. So now that it went away, got about 55 health left, dropping consistently, and it's gone. And boom, there is the re-heal, 50 HP. And everybody's preference is a little bit different when it comes to pest control. All in all, it's not a real bad way to gain XP on top of the XP you're already gaining. And it has a little gift of gold on the side. So there's nothing wrong with that. You make yourself a little bit of potion money, or whatever you might want to use your GP for, just by playing a game that is relatively low risk. So as we're dropping the last portal, keeping the Void Knight alive, you can see that, yep, we won, got 4 Void Knight commendation points, and it doesn't necessarily determine if you get paid or not. You just need to get some XP. And so, it really doesn't matter your play style, what you wear, what you eat, what you bring. Pest control is a relatively good way to make XP. Hopefully this helped you out, and maybe you'll utilize it in the future. If not, of course, everyone's got their own methods to their madness, so don't worry about play styles, have fun, and maybe we will see you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by.